You come to me on my daughter's wedding day. I don't know why it's Arnold, but go with it.
Could you imagine Arnold Schwarzenegger in a mafia movie? That'd be fantastic.
Oh, that would be amazing.
You come to me on my daughter's wedding day. How
That's
dare
cool.
you, Nitay?
What is this John Mulaney impression, bro? Well, you see, yeah, see. Like,
Hello everyone, it is that time of the month again, time for Anime Club After Dark to pop a squad and hit you with all the best and worst of what we have been indulging in recently. I'm your host Alex, but you can call me Senpai, and joining me tonight, I have absolutely everyone joining me. I have our czar of source material, John.
I was about to say something, but I yawned because I'm very tired.
You've been a
Perfect
very
timing.
not sleepy boy the last few days.
Yeah, today was the first day I actually fixed my sleep schedule, and I was like, oh man, I fixed my sleep schedule finally. Oh god, I gotta wake up and do a recording.
God damn it.
It's always something in it, John. We have our poser extraordinaire, Nitay.
Good to be here with you, Alex. I
Is it?
don't. That's a rhetorical
long-
question, Alex.
Long ass pause.
You stopped me
that's
in my
great.
tracks. I got nothing to add. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, we also have our broke con goer, Chinoda. Chinoda, you gotta stop spending all this money at conventions. Jesus Christ.
What have you
No,
done?
I'm about to go to Katsucon in less than a week.
And you just got back from MagFest.
Yeah.
Oh, you've been to MagFest? How was it?
Yeah, bro. Oh my god, that was amazing. I
Hey,
spent
you
way
know,
too much.
you know how you could find out how good it was? You could watch our WTF, Nitay.
Whoa!
Whoa, our first stream of the year. First thing
Yeah.
that came out of the year, I think. Right?
No, we
No,
had
second
episodes
thing.
come out. We have an
I don't
episode
know.
that comes out every Monday, Chinoda.
No,
Oh, right. No,
Oh,
Just
for a
stream.
stream.
No,
Oh,
first stream. It was the
It's
first
like
stream,
the
yeah.
second or third stream, because I did stream right after New Year's.
I don't know. I don't watch any of our streams.
Yeah, I know. Thank you for that.
Support the
The
channel,
content
right?
was only like first and foremost, we are not a primarily streaming channel. Like,
No.
No.
I stream for fun. I do it because I kind of enjoy it. I enjoy playing the games, and I enjoy hanging out with the people that show up. Which, by the way, if you don't know, we do actually stream on our YouTube channel every so often. Once I get my new computer done, I will be streaming more often than I have the last month. And I have a lot of games on the back burner I do intend to play. If you've joined our Discord server and you've seen some of the stuff that our boy Burb has been posting in the fan art channel, you'll know some of the games that are coming up because he's been making fens for the thumbnails.
And you'll also see how much pain Alex has been in making this
Bro.
computer.
Bro, I don't even listen. Fuck
he's
that.
so salty. It's
Fuck
hilarious.
this computer build. I gave up and I sent
He's
it to a
gotten
local
old
shop.
and slow, and he blames technology.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Old man yells at cloud.
Yes. I am becoming that man in this. I am becoming Homer Simpson's dad. I am literally
be like,
becoming.
damn you,
Simpson.
computers.
Yes.
Which is hilarious because he works with computers.
Yes. Listen, my focus is in software, not hardware. So I blame that. Anyway.
It's always been soft.
Hey,
Yeah.
yo.
Whoa. All right, so I want to start off by talking about something all four of us have now finally seen. Chinoda saw this back in 2019 when it first aired, and myself, John, and Nitay have just recently finished watching it. And that is an anime called Oh Maidens in Your Savage Season. And
What a
John
great
was the one.
title.
Hilarious.
Well, John was the one that finally got me to sit down and watch this because he finally sit down and watched it.
What
Same.
prompted that? Like, what prompted all of you just to like start watching?
That guy over there.
That
guy.
guy.
That's it.
Blame him.
Okay,
So
what prompted you,
prompted
John?
Me
Yeah.
was that I started seeing a bunch of shorts from this anime on YouTube.
It always
Shorts.
starts with shorts
It
every
always,
single
'cause,
time.
Yeah, it's like everything's like, hey, this looks kind of interesting, and I'm like, this does look kind of interesting. I want to check it out. And I watched like the first episode, and I was like, yo, what the fuck is this show? And then I watched
You've
the
never
second
heard of it
episode.
beforehand?
No, I had no idea
Wow,
what it was.
okay.
Then I watched the second episode. I was like, this is definitely written by a woman. I was like, who wrote this? And then I go and look it up, and it's like written by Mario Okada. And I was like, well, shit. Now I have to finish watching it because it's written by Mario Okada.
Mario Kata bless.
I believe this is the only manga that she's actually written, because she mainly does screenplay writing, right?
She
Yeah.
writes mainly.
Mhm.
She
Yeah, she
directed
writes
some.
mainly.
She recently directed movies, but she
But
mainly we've
I
seen her
believe
from
"Oh Maidens in Your Savage Season" is the only one she's actually like made, and then it got
The
an anime
manga.
adaptation. The manga, yeah. I personally think it's really good. Apparently, not a lot of people like it. I have a problem to pick with like quote unquote journalists in the West.
Mm.
There's a lot of complaints about the show that are like, I'd say they're valid complaints, kind of, but I feel like a lot of people don't understand the show through a Japanese like lens. A lot of people who watched it and reviewed it in the West try to view it as through a Western lens, because like, oh, it's a show about girls in high school who are trying to find their way and navigate their way through life and love, right?
And puberty.
And puberty. And it's like, it's first of all, it's a very uncomfortable topic in general, and that's why by the second episode I was like, this seems like it was written by a woman, because this is definitely not how guys think about puberty.
For sure.
And,
Yeah.
like, this made perfect sense when I saw like Mario Okada wrote it. I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. But a lot of people complain about, because there is some problematic things in the show. Primarily, there's two relationships in the show, because there's 5 girls, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah,
right?
there's 5
In the
main
book
girls.
club. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
5
Yeah.
main girls
The
that we follow
maidens.
The maidens.
yeah, there's 5 maidens that we follow the quote unquote love story for. And you know, I feel like the show, I say the show is god tier, and Mario Okada, you've done it again, but it's not like the best show I've ever seen, but I think it's a pretty decent damn show. There are some good complaints that I have about it, like or valid complaints that I think are you can point out about it, about how it's written and how it portrays certain characters. But the things that a lot of people hate it for are the quote unquote problematic things, is that there are 2 characters in here that have relationships with adults.
Yeah.
2 high
Except-
school girls having relationships with adults.
Yeah, high school girls having a relationship with adults. And I'm like, okay, I understand why that's creepy. And in fact, one of them is supposed to be like that. One of them
Oh, yeah.
is like, she was groomed and she has a weird, jacked up relationship with her groomer. And it's like, yes, that's exactly
That's the
why
point.
she wrote. That was the point. For
Yeah,
people
that's
going,
the story.
oh, it's sexualizing these girls and it's making it seem like it's okay. It's like, no, it was never okay. If you watch the rest of it, she knocks the fuck out of that pedophile.
Yeah.
Like that was
And
the
the other
point,
relationship,
dude. Like,
and
I,
the other relationship is very one-sided, and that's the point of that.
yeah,
whole
and
story
it's not like
arc
she
as
got
well.
with that guy either. It was a one-sided love thing. I'm like, this is why it's a good show. It
It shows
showcases
the good and bad aspects of relationships, not
Well,
just
it
the whole
shows
lovey-dovey shit.
how it is for women, I would assume, because I'm not a woman, to go through and navigate life through puberty in high school, where it's like you have crushes on people, and there are some things you don't understand about your body, like the whole love triangle thing, where it's like, I love you, but I'm sexually attracted to her. And it's like, yes, that is something that does happen, and you don't really
Yeah.
know how to deal with it as a kid, because it's like,
'Cause you're a
I don't
kid.
get it. I'm supposed to like this person that I like, and I do like them, but when I see their friend, I just like, oh my god, she just makes me super horny. It's like, yes, welcome to life, buddy. Welcome to like, that's good writing. That's realistic, dude. I'm not sure if you guys have ever seen I think it was called Pen 15. Have you guys ever seen that?
15.
That's
Doesn't
that
sound-
spells
ring a bell.
penis.
Yes, it does spell penis. It's written by, I believe they're comedians, but they're these women who are portraying themselves as teenagers, and basically retelling their middle school stories or high school stories. I think it's middle school actually. Their puberty stories. It's a very awkward show, but it's the same type of writing of
Intentionally,
like, yeah, it's intentionally awkward.
Okay.
Now, people's complaints about Pen 15 have always been like, it's gross that you are full 40-year-old grown-ass adults acting with children. Like, okay, I'm like, okay, that's a valid complaint. Like, that's kind of weird. But I think that the story where you talk about and make a retrospective of like the awkwardness of puberty is not a bad story. I feel like a lot of adults can relate to that because God, were people awkward. God, were we all awkward as kids?
Yeah, like
trust.
like John said, I've never been a teenage girl, so I don't know what the teenage girl puberty experience is like firsthand. But I do know what it's like going through puberty in like middle school and high school as a dude, and it's the most awkward you'll ever be in your fucking life for most people.
Yeah, and that's what I love about the show. It just seems so realistic, and
the dialogue reflects this too, because like the dialogue is so intentionally awkward sometimes because these people are all going through a very awkward stage in their lives. They should sound like that.
Now,
also their teenage language is cute. How they always like go like when they like say goodbye to each other, they're like goodbye, and then one time. One of the main girls, she's like, so they say goodbye, and one of them is like goodbye, and the other was like bye. Like the small talk, the banter,
very
is
teenage
great.
like.
I saw that
banter
as
is
like,
great.
God, this seems like something that would be in the movie Mean Girls. I swear to God.
Goodbye, bad Dubai.
Now, I do feel like the writing gets a little lost because let's be honest here. We say that there's 5 main character girls. There's truly only like 2. The 2 main girls who like are more entwined with each other than others. And I remember a lot of people were championing O Maidens in Your Savage Season because there is a actual a lesbian in here. And they discussed that, which I thought was pretty good because it's like, she's supposed to be dating boys and she dates a boy and she's like, I don't fucking like boys, and it turns out it's like, oh no, I'm actually into chicks. And then they kind of just leave it. And I'm just like, well, that never got resolved, and that kind of sucks.
Yeah,
I do like though that they didn't treat that as a joke. Like it's like
I do really appreciate that.
So many anime that talk about stuff like this, they treat the gay characters as if it's it's just a phase. I'll get over it when I'm an adult. It's like, no, this is like an actual thing, and you treat it seriously like that. And I appreciate that.
I just feel like
it's
like specifically for some of the side characters, or for some of the characters, they feel more like side characters because there's the obvious main character girl, and it's kind of like revolves around her and the boy that she likes, and then that other girl, and it's kind of like they're kind of the main characters, and everyone else is like auxiliary to them, which kind of sucks in my opinion.
But
I felt like all the stories to me, I thought were all valid and great, and I wanted them all to have equal like space. But there's obviously a main cast. A main trio of characters that it kind of all revolves around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's kind of my only complaint about the anime.
I think when you have like 5 main characters, quote unquote, like it's kind of like difficult to not end up in a situation where at least one gets the short end of the stick in terms of like this amount of screen time. And I do really like the structure of the show where you get the sections then together, but the show isn't afraid of like separating them for like long chunks of episode where to follow their own separate like journeys and how they like intertwine and then go on their like separate them again. And I think for the most part it works in getting you engaged with each one's journey. But definitely like it's not even between all 5, but with the amount of time they were given, I think like it's still like
12 episodes, 11 episodes.
Yeah,
like,
it's still pretty successful. But I think my main issue, like I have like a few issues with the show. I liked it quite a bit, but I think it kind of resolves itself a bit too easily when you get to like the actual.
I mean, I don't know what you mean by easily. Like they literally committed acts of terrorism. Like
no, I'll tell you let's just when I say easily, I'll rephrase it. Like from the beginning of the final episode to the end, like you get a lot of really good moments and scenes of like that I really enjoyed, like the character dynamics and their like the conclusions to their stories. But then it just kind of like.
Yeah, it's like
it ends,
like,
it just
everything
kind of
has been building
end.
up for months for things to be happening right now, right? The relationships that the girls are in, and it all gets resolved overnight
one
with
night.
a game of tag,
which is cute, but it's like just
how very
fizzles out by
anime.
the end of it.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, we now
It is
understand
very
everyone's
anime,
emotions
yeah.
because we're playing tag with each other, and it's like that's not. I mean, okay, like. as an adult, I feel like yeah, you could probably do that where we have so much more introspective nature and we understand and stuff like that. But as teenagers, resolving it all overnight, like
No,
I don't know about that.
no, duh.
All these misunderstandings and all these things that just get resolved just suddenly.
It is super
Yeah.
cute though. This show as a whole.
Well,
very much so.
there are moments that are definitely not.
There are
cute.
moments which are not, but like when it's cute, it's like I was smiling,
Bro,
like I really
Bro,
enjoyed it.
when you walk in on your childhood friend jorking it to like train groping scenes, it's not great. It's not a good time. It's not a good time.
Bro, that was the
That
most
shit was
wild
hilarious.
start.
And that's how the
such a
first
good-
expecting
Oh,
that.
That's how the
Yeah.
first episode literally ends.
Yeah,
That's such a good hook. It's such a good hook.
I know. Oh, dude.
I also love how calmly it gets resolved too. The dude just pulls up his pants and just starts getting
he just
like
pretends like nothing
dressed
happened.
and
Like, oh, hey, neighbor girl, what's going on?
What are
brings you
you
over
doing
here?
here, barging into my room?
Hilarious.
See, that to me, like, that was the hook for me. It's like, oh, we're going to go with that kind of awkward. Okay, you got me. I'm sticking around to see how awkward this rabbit hole gets.
No, the sensei and the girl is like the relationship that I wanted to see because that's what I saw in the YouTube shorts where I was like, what the fuck is this show?
I love
Yeah.
that dynamic between the teacher and
Have any of
I don't
you
remember
actually watched this
Hongo.
in the English dub?
No.
No. I only watched the
Okay,
Japanese.
so I tried it out a little bit while I was watching this because it is so right now, as far as I know, in North America, it's only streaming on High Dive, and they have the English dub, and I thought, well, I'm gonna check it out. Couple of takeaways I got from this: that overall, from what I saw of it, the English dub is actually pretty decent. But there's some stuff that made me laugh out fucking loud. The gyarus in this show that you see in the background characters, they all sound like fucking Valley Girls, and it's hysterical.
hate it.
that's amazing.
What the hell?
That's
And
amazing.
the episode where the principal guy comes in and says, "Hey, you guys don't have like a what do they call it?
A teacher?
A teacher
Advisor.
advisor. Thank you, an
Yeah.
advisor for your literature club." Dude sounds like the goddamn principal in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I swear to God,
Okay.
and that made me laugh out loud. But yeah, the English dub is actually pretty decent considering the source material. Hearing some of the girls just unironically in English go, "Yeah, give me that cock," I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, what have I gotten into?
You know, shit happens.
Yeah, that happens during sex too.
God
Oh
damn.
my god.
Oh my god, Alex.
I'm glad I finally watched this because it's one of the few things that Mario Okada has written that I hadn't seen. And she has a very good track record. I would say the only thing so far that she's written that I actively do not like is The Pet Girl of Sakura So. That's your one miss.
I thought you were going to say Keys Kniver. But then it's, like, it's not her fault. It's not her
It's
fault.
not her fault. It's not her
not
fault.
her
The
fault,
Pet
yeah.
Girl of Sakura So is fucking her fault.
Yeah, I don't. And a lot
Although,
of people like
that
the Pet
isn't-
Girl of Sakura So for some reason.
Although that is an adaptation of a manga, so I guess she had to work within what was already there.
That's true.
Yeah, that's the
did you
only thing
give
that
it?
she's written for an anime so far that I actively dislike.
Honestly,
score
O
did you
Maidens
give
to
the
me is
show?
like an 8 out of 10 anime. Like it's
Interesting.
fucking
I was gonna
solid,
ask,
dude.
what's everyone's score for this? Because I say 8 out of 10 as well. Like, it's a solid 8 out of 10.
Yeah, that's the score I gave it when I watched it. 8 out of 10.
Nitay.
I gave it a 7. I really, really enjoyed it. It just there's something about the presentation that I just like couldn't like shake off like it'd been too distracting. I don't know if you guys like noticed that, but it feels like the episodes are like artificially like over brightened that they're supposed to be. Like there's like this extra layer of like whiteness to everything, and I
Why gotta
don't
be
know.
white, Nitay?
anyway.
I'm sorry.
Anyway.
That was so stupid.
I can't say I know what you're talking about. Like I
I can go over after a recording. I'll like try and explain. Like I try to just.
Do you mean
Maybe
how
you're
like
just so
they're-
used to how dark and how
No,
bad
no, what I
lighting
mean is,
is
do
in
you know-
Hollywood movies. You
No, no,
know,
no,
where
no.
like
Yeah.
I
No.
can barely see what's going on here.
Do you know? Okay. Do you have you ever when like you start like a game up on consoles, so it asks for like a brightness slider, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you know how the screen looks if you go a bit too much over to the bright, like
It looks
over
washed
brightening
out.
and everything?
Yeah,
it looks
yeah.
washed out.
Washed
Thank you.
out,
That's what I was looking for.
That's what
So
I
for
was going to
some
ask.
reason-
Like, do you mean that some of the scenes look particularly washed out?
For
like, with the
some
color
reason, they
palette?
look washed out, and I don't know if it's like it's an intentional choice or not, because it's just very consistent across the entire season. Like there's a very washed out like aesthetic to it, and it's.
I would say so. The anime was made by Studio Ledoux, and they have a history of doing this with multiple productions that they've done.
really.
I think it's just
Yeah.
their palette. Like they just like using washed out colors, dude.
They
It
like
just
using a
felt
washed out
so-
color palette.
it just felt so artificial and not like natural and
Mm-hmm.
complementary to like the show. It just really distracted
Bro,
me.
just
But
change the contrast on your own monitor to like darken.
well, sure, I mean, but okay, sure, I guess, but it just really bothered me. But again, still great show. I did really enjoy it. The writing was like the main, and the voice cast was like
Yeah.
a treat.
I get what you
yeah.
mean though. The colors seemed very washed out, and I agree. But it's also kind of what the studio that made it is sort of known for, especially back then.
It's a stylistic choice.
Yeah, I can accept that. But yeah, good show. Would highly recommend.
Yeah, would highly recommend. For just about everyone. Although
Sonezaki,
if
best girl. Just saying.
I don't remember any of their names. I just know there was
Glasses
the
girl that becomes
Glasses girl.
You know,
She's actually pretty funny. I do like her.
she's
quite a lot.
amazing. She's
Yeah.
hysterical.
I think the author girl is the best one though, just because she's so funny.
She's insane, bro. She's nuts.
Bro, she's fucking. That's why I love her so much.
That is one thing I definitely can't accuse this anime of doing. None of the girls are color coded. God damn it.
Yeah, they're actually not color coded. I just know each one is like. There's the lesbian, the childhood friend,
The blonde
glasses
one.
girl, and then the actor girl, and then the writer. It's like that's.
Yeah.
So I remember them as their roles.
And again, I love the title of this show. I don't know it works so well, but it's a great title for the show.
Oh, maidens in your savage season.
I think the
so,
title's fantastic, honestly.
Do you know savage season is a French expression for puberty?
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
It's a very old French expression for going through puberty, the savage season.
Completely makes sense.
It's like there's also the French expression for masturbation, le petit mort, the little death.
A little bit,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
No, that's what they. The little death is what they call an orgasm.
Oh, is it? I thought it was like specifically
No,
masturbation,
no,
but it's
it's-
just
No,
orgasm in general.
That's
No, it's
specific.
orgasm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
You have an orgasm. It's the
little death.
Because you're like,
Holy shit.
because your soul leaves your body for a split second there.
John, don't ever do that again while we're recording. That is a visual I don't need.
Just ascending.
Oh my god.
Step bro. Oh wait, what?
No, God.
Yamete.
Anyway,
Get out, get out.
I see here, Alex, that you had to drop Ameku. I've been calling her Akemu this entire time, and it was only last week that I realized, oh shit, it's actually Ameku, not Akemu.
Yes.
Who the
I
fuck is
finally.
Ameku?
So this is the anime that's currently airing. It's Akemu MD, the Doctor Detective.
Oh, House MD anime. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is essentially.
that one.
That's how because with all the like promotional material for this, I assumed that's what it was going to be. That's what I wanted it to be, and it is not what I wanted it to be. It is fucking murder mysteries, and I'm like, no, give me my medical mysteries. Give me my autistic like doctor that knows everything, please.
So the
And you
thing
didn't
is,
give it to me.
Ameku MD, just like House MD, they're both based on Sherlock, right?
Uh-huh.
And instead of leaning into like a medical twist of Sherlock, Ameku MD
just
just
Sherlock.
is like she just so happens to be a doctor, but it's more Sherlock, more like murder
Yeah.
mystery stuff. And I'm like, that's not really. It's not that titillating of a show. I'm not caught up on Ameku because I do not look forward to watching it. Well, because like the episode 3 where it's like it starts off and it's like, oh, why are these girls doing this? I'm like, because they're having epileptic seizures. Like it was so obvious to me of what happened here. But
And you're
everyone
not a
else is like,
doctor.
we don't know what happened. How could a video make people do weird things? I'm like, maybe because it gave them a fucking seizure. Like, to me, it was very obvious what happened here. Oh, they watched the video that has weird flashing lights and stuff. And it's like, yeah, I wonder what that could have been. Maybe a seizure? But apparently everyone in this fucking show is just so inept at deduction. Like, none of them can actually do basic blood tests, blood panels. None of them can do any of that. And it takes this one specific doctor, the lolly Dr. House, Ameku, to be able to be like, actually, this is why it's happening. And it's like, I just feel like all these doctors are so incompetent. None of them actually know what's... Because, like, so... Episode 3 is the one that has the girls. There's twin girls, and they have epileptic seizures, and I could tell right away what happened. But no one could figure it out except Ameku, because she's like, actually, they could have seizures, and this is, yeah, like, actually. But the other doctors are like, no, there's no way they could be happening. They're not displaying the signs. And I'm like, what do you mean they're not displaying? What research have you done? They're like, oh, we just think that they were depressed, and they tried to kill themselves, and that's actually what was happening here. Yeah. They were like... And it's like, so there's twin girls. One of them is going through a bad breakup where her ex is like, he cheated on her and he's like bugging her to get back together. And then her sister shows her the cursed video. And then the sister that's going through the breakup decides to walk into front of a fucking train. And they're like, oh, because of stress, she tried to commit suicide. And it's like, they tell her about the cursed video, and all the doctors like, cursed video? That doesn't exist. Curses aren't real. And they just like brush it off. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe that has some grain of truth to the medical community, because there are a lot of doctors who will brush off things that you say, because they're like, yeah, that doesn't make sense. Brush it off. But at the same time, it's like, okay, if a girl who has no known history of like depression and stuff like that, all of a sudden decides to, jump in front of a train, maybe there might be something wrong. Maybe look deeper than just, oh no, she's just a teenager and she's hormones, It's like, it's so dumb.
See, John,
and then
that's why
the current arc right now is completely not even a medical mystery. The complete arc right now is like literally a human combustion. They're like, oh my god. And I'm like, I've read this in a bunch of books, in murder mystery books.
What? You mean like Fire Force? Like human combustion?
Yes.
No, like instant human combustion. Like, how are these people instantly just like turning up and burning into ash, and it's crazy. And it's like, yeah, that's actually kind of, it's a classic like whodunit, Like, I guarantee you the final arc of Ameku MD is probably going to be the locked room thing, where it's going to be like someone died in a locked room. Yeah. I swear, because that's always the ultimate like whodunit, right? There's the locked room problem. And don't get me wrong, I love shows like this. Like Shin Megami Tensei, Shin Megami Nero, actually. Shin Megami Tensei, that's SMT.
That's a game.
Nero-sama is a old whodunit detective like show, but it's like he's a demon and he likes eating mysteries. And it's, I believe the guy's voiced by Dio, actually. He's the main character. I'm pretty sure it's Dio that voices him. And Nightmare does the opening for it. It's a really good opening.
Oh.
Dirty. Yeah, and it's pretty old. It's from back in the day. Yeah. But I really like it because I love murder mystery stuff. I love whodunit stuff. So to me, this should be right up my alley. But for Ameku MD, it's just not fun watching her solve things, because they have some of the medical mystery things that it's like, like what you thought it was going to be about, because like what else would it be? But then it's like it gets so solved easily by Ameku, and everyone else is just incompetent. So it makes me hate that, the medical mystery side of it. Then they go to the actual mystery shit where it's like murder mystery stuff, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of interesting, but it's like Ameku just all of a sudden understands, oh, obviously his leg was bitten off by a giant shark or a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and obviously the reason his blood was blue was because they used tetrodotoxin oxide because he was treating a patient. He's actually a secret Yakuza doctor, and I'm like, how in the fuck did you come up with this? Like, there's no actual explanation of how she figured out he was a Yakuza doctor. She just says some bullshit and it just makes sense. And it's like, how did you know, Ameku? It's like, what? She just knows it. And I'm like, that's so bad, you know? At least with other Sherlock spin-off type of shows, they'll somehow lead you to like the logical reasonings behind why it happened. This one, it really doesn't. It just goes, yeah, it's because of this.
Just pulls
say
shit
some
out
fancy
of his
words.
ass.
Just say, yeah, it just pulls shit out and just says words and says, medically it makes sense because if you do this, 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 and this, yeah. And I'm like, you didn't have any proof of this. Like, literally, you had zero proof. You just made an assumption, and because you are the genius Ameku, you just knew. I'm like, what the fuck?
See, that's what I love about like the actual show House MD, which is infinitely better than this, by the way. The show never actually made any of the other doctors out to be dumb or incompetent. It's just that House himself thinks outside the box.
Yeah, and outside of the ending of House MD, like, I'm not sure
Which
if
is
you've watched.
weird.
Well, I mean, it makes sense, like, from a, I wouldn't say thematic.
Yeah.
From a character perspective, it makes sense of why it ends how it ends. You know, I don't have a
I
problem
wouldn't call
with that.
it bad. It's just kind of not satisfying.
Well, it's not a satisfying end because it's like everything that House did finally has caught up to him, and then all of a sudden it ends with him just like faking his death so he can spend his last days with Wilson, who has cancer, his best friend.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's a good happy ending, but what about his life with Cuddy? What about the kid? What about, like, there's so much left unanswered. It's like, this kind of just like sucks as an ending.
Yeah.
It just really does. But yeah, Ameku is not fun to watch. I feel like I should drop it, but I want to get to the end of this case, and I want to see if they do the trapped room. Like, because in every classic murder mystery whodunit, they always do the trapped room, or the locked room problem of this person died, but they were in a locked room by themselves.
I mean,
I
you
always
should at
Can't
least,
wait.
I was gonna say you should at least finish out the arc.
Yeah,
Might
I
as
mean,
well.
there's one more episode for the Enzo Firemaster arc or whatever, the human combustion arc, and it's like, okay, because they already arrested the guy who was setting the people aflame, but apparently there's other people it's still happening to, and they don't know why, and it's like, wait, what?
Huh.
It's like, huh?
I don't know. I wanted it
wait
to
for it.
actually lean in on the medical mysteries, and unfortunately, it just doesn't do that. That's what I wanted the show to be.
Yeah, I hate that they show the medical mystery stuff, and it's just Ameku just solves it so easily, and everyone else is just so incompetent.
Yeah.
Everyone just is dumb. It's so bad.
So I'm waiting for you that by the time we get to the next monthly dump, you'll know if there's like a locked room mystery or not. I can't wait.
I'm gonna ride it out just because every time I do watch Ameku, I just go, "That's so dumb. You're so dumb."
John's
All right.
I hate watching.
Yeah.
I am hate watching Ameku. That is not a joke. I do not like it.
That's hilarious.
In fact, it pains me to watch it, but not as bad as like Guilty Crown, where it's like it hurts my soul to watch the rest of Guilty Crown. But
Always
I am
comes
not
back to
enjoying
Guilty
watching
Crown.
Ameku, but I need to keep watching it because that is one category I love quite a lot. I love murder mystery stuff. I just do.
And you want to
always
love
been.
it. You want to love it, don't you? You want to like it more than you do.
Well, because Sherlock is great. I like all murder mystery things. You know, Murder on the Nile. Murder on the Murder on the Orient Express. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the greatest murder mysteries ever written.
I like reading mystery.
Did you
things.
like Knives Out?
I've never seen Knives Out.
I have. I like the first one. The second one was kind of
Second one was whatever, but John, you should definitely watch the first Knives Out. It's
it good?
Really good. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought
pretty
the
good.
first one was really good.
It's
The only
such
thing I know about Knives Out is the poster for it.
So no, bro. Knives Out is like a legitimately really well structured like whodunit in a really clever way. You should.
Made by Ryan
fantastic.
Johnson, of all people.
Daniel Craig in one of his best roles. Just saying,
James Bond himself.
it's great.
But anyway, yeah.
Nitay,
can't
I want
recommend
you to give us the Naruto report right now.
Oh my god, dude. Where are you at? Are you past the tuning exams?
I am in the second tuning exams, and boys, I'm having a great time with this show so far. It got me. So let me back up a bit. So ever since last time, so I finished the Zabuza arc, and the Zabuza arc was kind of like I was just like vibing with it. It was a good fun,
It's a
And
good
my-
introduction, I think.
and my friends were like, would tell me,
Bizarre. Is that the Hidden Mist village?
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
And my friends were like, wait for the final episode of the arc. You'll see why we're excited for you to watch it. And that final episode sealed the deal for me. I loved that final episode of that arc. The way, like,
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
listen, the way they portrayed Zabuza, how they concluded his story, like everything around it. I appreciated Talk no Jutsu meme finally taking shape.
Yeah.
That was great. Like that is a first like actual arc. Actually, like solid, like better than I expected. But then
Was the
afterwards,
Zabuza, the Hidden Mist village arc.
right?
That was Team 7's first mission together.
That's
right?
their first
Yeah.
Oh,
mission.
yeah.
Yeah,
they're
where-
very
outside,
that's the-
outside of the Hidden Leaf Village, yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
the mission where they escort the guy who builds the bridge, and he tricks them into helping him in this like kind of like more difficult and more complicated mission because he has no money to afford like higher tiers of ninjas or whatever. And like that whole arc of actually throwing the kids into a real like high stakes situation was great. I loved how Naruto is like an actual kid and he freaks out about this situation of like, oh, actually defending himself and having to fight and whatnot. And also seeing how the show is not afraid to kick him down, whether it's him or even like, we'll get to that later, but Sasuke at a later point. Like the show is A-okay with like just kicking them down and like they're staying down in the mud and they have no chance of actually winning this situation sometimes. And when they do, it feels that much more satisfying. Like it's super simple, but it's done so well that like I can't not enjoy it, you know?
Right.
That's the
That
great
first
thing
arc
about
was fun.
Naruto. It has like these great punch the air moments when your trio succeeds.
Definitely. And again, like I like the story of the village, like the side characters that they met, like I thought were like really fun. Kakashi remains the best character in the show.
Yeah.
He's great.
For now, bro, I'm telling you, you're gonna love Jiraiya.
And you're gonna meet some great characters along the way. If you like
So-
Kakashi,
So listen, so that's the fun part. So that first Zabuza arc was really fun. The ending of it was like, by the end I was like, fuck yeah, that was awesome. I like how they turned it out sad because for the longest time they keep you actually thinking, oh, because I was waiting for that entire. It's like, oh, he actually cares for Haku as a person. He's not only using him as a weapon, and they hold on to that facade for a long time, longer than I anticipated. So I was like, okay, fine. And they still nail it by the end when they reveal that he cares so much about Haku and how he breaks down and then his last stand. It got me, bro. It got me. I loved it. It was great like moment in general.
Bro.
Like the fights and everything.
I still remember little kid me watching that for the first time and just watching Zabuza cry, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck? These are
That was
complicated
so
adult
good.
feelings.
Yeah.
I was just like, holy shit, this is depressingly
That
sad.
still resonated. Yeah.
No, it resonated hard.
That
So
is
that
a
was
running theme in
surprise.
Naruto where a lot of the villains, the quote unquote villains of Naruto, they have pretty good reason for being villains.
they got
Yeah.
good motivations and they got well established motivations.
Definitely.
They are
And,
a product of the world.
Bro, I'm
And it
telling
was-
you. Oh god, I wish you would binge all of it so you can get to pain. The world will know
No
pain.
pain.
Ah, it's peak.
I
Peak
know one
Naruto.
person-
It builds to
I
it.
know.
It builds
Look,
to
I
it.
know one person he's met. He's met Might Guy.
So
Yeah, he
on
just-
to the tuning exams and fucking guy. What a wonderful guy. I
Alright.
love this guy so much. What a great guy. So tuning exam. So from the get go, I was like, all right, this shit's good. So you have the introduction of the rookies, which all of them are super great. I love Gara and his buddies. I think they're super fun. They're super creepy. I love fuck. What's his name? The guy with so Rock Lee. Obviously, he's great. I love him.
Yes.
And
Right.
and back to what I was saying about like kicking the main character's ass. He mops the floor with Sasuke. Like the show is not afraid to show you. Oh yeah, these kids they're nowhere like anywhere impressive. They have potential, but they need to work their ass off together. And I love that interaction.
Yeah, that's
So,
one thing that. So another running theme of Naruto is that there are people who are born with better innate talents, like the people in the Uchiha clan are supposed to be born with better innate talents, and they do have better innate talents for like genjutsu and stuff like that. But then there's people like Lee who have no genjutsu and cannot use anything other than taijutsu, which is just hand-to-hand combat, and he just mops the floor.
He
with
throws
them.
And I
hands, man.
love that.
He
Pow!
throws hands. Yeah.
And it's like
I
because he
love-
worked extra hard at becoming that. And it's like, wow, that's a really great thing for a shonen. You know, like when
Yeah.
you work
I
extra hard, you
love-
put in the effort.
How like they portray him that he has this like chip on his shoulder, and he's like coming in with conviction. He's like, you know what, all you fucking geniuses, let me show you how working hard and like fucking just never like taking any breaks and just going at it with enough like dedication will get me further than you, like way above your level. And I like how they sort of like, it seems, set the stage for like a confrontation where it's like Rock Lee's like just dedication versus Sasuke's or anyone else's just like, oh, they're like the genius, they're like innate talent.
Yeah,
like obviously
he's part of the Uchiha. They
Yeah.
were one of the best military police that we had.
Yeah.
So Rock Lee is great. So I was thinking about his buddy. Oh wait, so Tenten, obviously she's great as well.
Tenten.
And what's his name? The third guy on their squad.
Neji.
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 Neji,
Neji, my boy.
Neji. So all of these like new rookies are really fun to watch. I like them. And then the first test happens. And I'm like, all right, let's see how these goes. And the moment you realize the whole point of the test is to cheat, I was like, that's so clever. That's
It
so
is. It's
good.
genius.
I love
Yeah.
that first test. It was such a fun watch.
Because it's such a ninja test.
Yeah.
There are
they're
like,
like, oh,
four people
they're
with
giving
the
you
actual right
chances to
answers,
cheat.
so everyone has to cheat.
Do you know what's funny about that? When I was in elementary school, there was a teacher that actually did that to us.
Seriously.
Wait, what?
That,
No way.
Yeah, gave us a test, and like I think there was like 3 or 4 people in the class, and the class was like 20, 22 people, something like that. And those like 3 or 4 people had all the answers. The point of the test was to cheat because all of the all the questions were impossible for us to answer without cheating.
That's amazing.
What the hell?
That's crazy.
But
Apparently,
why?
we were
Why
told
did-
after the fact. Apparently, the whole point of this is to find out how clever we were to A, figure out how to cheat and who to cheat off of, and B, not get caught.
What
kind of weird psyop school did
Bro,
you go
yeah,
to?
bro, your teacher is waiting for someone to pull out a Sharon gun or something. So like, oh, there he is.
Hey, this was
kinda-
all. This is. I can't say that this teacher was inspired by Naruto because this is in the '90s before Naruto started airing. So.
Well, I'm not saying that Alex might be a KGB sleeper agent, but he might just be a KGB sleeper agent.
It's the communist, the globalists.
Oh
But
my God.
that first test was so much fun. Seeing all like the different kids, how they sort of like try and like accomplish and like pretty much finish the test successfully, and then seeing how it's like such a like that final question where it's like, all right, like if you can't take on this answer, your entire squad is gonna get disqualified. But if you're not going to answer this question, then you need to like give up on an exam till the next time, which is like 1 or 2 years from now.
I think it's
And, like,
every 2 years to tune in.
Every
They
2
do the
years,
tuning
yeah.
exams
Yeah.
every 2 years. Yeah.
And I love that. I loved how it's just a way for them to fuck with the students, and like that was so well done. I love that bit. And yeah, currently I'm in the second exam, the Forest of Death, I think.
Yep.
where they introduce Ochimaru. Is that his name?
Orochimaru.
Orochimaru.
Best girl.
So, sheesh.
The pedo in chief.
Yeah, something like that. So that actually is like the first like Sakuga moment so far in this show, the fight between Sasuke and Orochimaru for their first fight. Like that was great. Like I loved it. I like the choreography. I like the emphasis like hand to hand combat. It's like just production all around. It's like really solid, for a weekly Shonen Jump show.
Yeah.
Having a great time with this arc. Just one thing that's nagging me though.
Okay.
So I on behalf of a request from a friend of mine. So I try to get into this show now without any preconceptions, right? Because you tend to absorb memes and stuff over the years. And one thing in particular I talked about last time is I know the joke that Sakura is useless. I am aware of it. I feel bad for her because the show isn't giving her any chances to show me anything like that's besides that. They don't give her a chance to do anything.
She doesn't.
It gets
Sprout.
fixed
She
later
doesn't
and
get.
ship it
Yeah.
in. It'll get fixed later and ship it in.
I'm trying to give it a chance, but man, like throughout this entire fight, she's just there doing nothing. I'm like, I want to like you, but
Kishimoto himself has said that he deeply regrets how Sakura was handled in the first half of Naruto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a shame. It's kind of a shame.
It
because,
gets better. Is all I can say.
Because literally, like, I like Sasuke's progression in this arc. I like Naruto's progression in this arc. I like all the side characters we meet. I like how all the interactions we get with them. Hinata is cute. She's there. I like that as well. I like everything about it. Really fucking
I've seen all the seeds get planted, boys.
Yeah.
Just watching it happen.
Just begging.
So good. Also, I like how not everyone's not stupid. You know how in stories sometimes when there's like someone hijacks like an exam or something like that, it's like, I wonder who did that. Duh. Like there's a whole like few episodes of something like that, and from the get go where their instructor, she realized the jutsu that he uses. She's like, I know this guy. I know this fucking dude. And she hunts him down and just like great arc so far. I'm having a great time with the tuning exams. It's living up to the hype so far.
I'm glad. I'm so happy that you're having a great time with Naruto.
Yeah, no, seriously.
I'm glad it wasn't just like nostalgia bias on my part of like, man, Naruto is really good.
No, it's actually legitimate. Like again, Zabu's arc solid, enjoyed it, but the tuning exams so far are great. Like you feel the like the energy level is way up there. It's like it's just a fun watch, right? And also helps that Haruka Kanata is now the OP, and that song is a banger.
Yeah,
It's great. But so far that's where I'm at. I think I got 30 episodes left of the tuning exams or something like that. And so I reckon by next episode I'll talk about like the rest of it. We'll see.
All right, cool.
All right, I'm looking forward to it.
Great show.
All right. What do you want to talk about of this giant fucking list? Because you have a lot to choose from.
Let's go with the first on it. Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Spider-Man? Spood?
On Disney Plus?
On Disney Plus, yes.
Is this a show?
So,
What
yes,
is
this is the new animated Spider-Man show.
Is this the one that looks like it's animated at 5 frames per second?
Yeah.
So how are the actual
It's art
episodes with that
style.
art style?
Its art style is I don't like it. I do not like it.
You're
It
not
did look
alone in that,
promising.
because that seems to be the general opinion that it doesn't look good at all.
No, and I'm just like, Jesus, it feels really cheaped out on. I'm just like, I'm sure it's a stylistic choice and with the whoever's directing to keep the budget on hand, but I'm just like, Jesus, this really
They
really
got
looks
Disney
bad.
money. What budget? They can piss
you
away
think it's
billions
like
of dollars on productions like they don't give a damn.
Buddy,
Do you think it's
depending
like-
on what it is, they don't give that much of a budget.
Yeah, but I
sometimes.
feel like with how successful the
would
Spider-Man
think.
franchise has
You would
been,
think.
right? With the trilogy movies, the Tom Holland trilogy movies, right? Amazing, right? Great, made
Yeah.
a ton of money, and then you have the Into the Spider-Verse, did banger fucking numbers. Then you have the fucking video game on PlayStation, also did banger numbers for number 1 and number 2 with Miles Morales. It's like, it's just printing money left and right. So I feel like they should be investing more into Spider-Man. Like, we have a new, younger generation that loves Spider-Man. Why wouldn't they?
You would,
Capitalize on that, yeah.
yeah, you would.
Now you
you
have
think it's-
older people who still like Spider-Man.
Do you think the show is like an answer to Spider-Verse in how they tried to, like, I'm not saying successfully, but maybe they were trying to sort of like, I don't
If
want to
it
say
was-
ape, but sort of like capitalize on the fact that people like those movies.
If it was, it's really badly done.
Well, I
It's-
want to ask you this,
From the
Chinoda,
trailers, it didn't
because
look promising
Okay.
to me.
I want to ask you this, Chinoda, because I've heard this opinion from a couple of people now. Do you think that with the art style and animation style they went with, they were trying really hard to make it look like a motion comic, and they just
yes.
really failed at the implementation?
No, it 100% feels like that's exactly what they tried
That's
to do.
even
and
worse. I would hate, like, are they 20-minute episodes?
Yes, they are.
20-minute episode, like, animated like a motion comic? I would hate that, dude. I can stand motion comics for about 2 to 5 minutes at most.
Oh my
So to
god.
watch an entire 20-minute episode
Now,
of that,
it's not-
no.
It's not fully just motion comic, but it's in the art style of it.
Well, 'cause
you
I
have
look
to
at it-
watch it to see.
I look at the clips online that I've seen, and it's like, well, they're using like the bright colors and the thick like character outlines, and I'm like, this looks like it's ripped straight out of like a color page in a comic book.
It does feel like that, but man, it's just not done well. The voice acting is fine. The story is like standard Spider-Man from the beginning story.
That's what I was
What?
about to ask. How's the actual writing of the show, though? Because if it's written well,
okay.
then maybe... Oh.
It's
okay.
okay. Like okay at best. Not it's pretty okay. No, it's
I
okay.
long for
at
the
best.
days.
It's
I long for the days of Spectacular Spider-Man. God damn. That show was
Yeah.
a banger, bro.
that
It
show
had
was
no right
actually
being that
really
good. It had no right being that good.
I don't
Do you
know
think
which
they're ever
Spider-Man
gonna
show that is.
run?
That's
do
the
you think
one...
they're ever- Do you think they're ever gonna run out of adjectives to describe Spider-Man?
Never.
No.
No.
The buggy Spider-Man.
Friendly,
With J. Jonah
amazing,
Jameson here. No one.
spectacular.
Spider-Man.
like-
It's which year was it from? It was right before Disney bottled the
Was
Marvel
a
stuff.
while ago.
The last Spider-Man like TV series I watched was back in the early 2000s. The
Bow, 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 bow. That one?
Spectacular Spider-Man was 2008, bro.
That was 2008.
Yeah.
Wait, maybe John's thinking about the MTV one, where it's like
I'm thinking about the one where
CG.
it's like he meets Madam Web, he goes into the future and shit
Oh,
like
that was like the
Oh,
97
Unlimited.
one. Yeah,
That's
Spider-Man
Unlimited Spider-Man. That shit was wild. That was.
I remember
wild
that was
show.
the last Spider-Man TV series that I've seen. So I'm
So
like way out of the loop.
in 2008, so they made Spectacular Spider-Man, which is legitimately one of the best like iterations of Spider-Man, in my opinion. And they got 2 seasons, and then Disney bought like the rights for Spider-Man in like TV shows and whatever. So they canceled it. And it was such a good show. Like I would highly recommend going back and watching it. It's a quick watch because it's short episodes, but it's such a good version of Spider-Man. I love that show. It was awesome.
The last Spider-Man
watch that.
anything I watched was the Sam
Yeah.
Raimi trilogy from the early 2000s.
Great
Oh,
movies.
dude.
I mean,
Pizza Time.
listen, there's some quotable shit in those movies, man.
I didn't mind the Sam Raimi ones, but I think the Tom Holland ones are the best ones.
Really?
No, you can't
Interesting.
appreciate the Tom Holland ones until you watch the other two, right? When you get to the very end with the
No
with
Way Home.
Tobey Maguire with No Way Home and Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield showing up, dude, fucking great!
So
Oh
good.
my god,
So good.
many missed opportunities in that movie for them to do. It's pizza time.
I'm somewhat of a scientist myself.
Yeah,
Oh Lord.
and I just love Green Goblin with
Do you know what's
Willem
funny
Dafoe
is
is
the
great.
Willem Dafoe
When-
as Green Goblin.
Yeah,
when-
Like,
he is
amazing.
when they did the Spider-Man movie where they all show up. That's No Way Home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, No Way Home. Yeah.
Tobey Maguire is as old in that movie as Willem Dafoe was when he was in the original
No
Spider-Man
shit,
movie.
really?
Wild.
He is the exact same age
That's
that Willem
crazy.
Dafoe was in that movie. Which I find is an amazing coincidence.
So Chinoda, you're gonna keep watching it?
Probably, but at this point, it's not a enthusiastic watch. It's yeah, I'll finish this up because I'm watching it with Tommy, and yeah. But otherwise, I'm just like,
Unfortunate.
So
I
middling
don't know if
is
I'll-
where it's at for you.
Now, keep in mind, I've only watched 2 episodes so far. There's 3 more episodes at the time of recording. Like, who knows? Maybe as more comes out, maybe I'll like it more and all that. But just right now, off the first 2 episode impression, I'm not impressed. I'm not.
That's
Okay.
a shame.
Unfortunate. Well, I
Alright.
guess we can move on to another superhero thing since I know Nitay wants to talk about Invincible.
Actually, I mean, sure, I'll talk about Invisible for a quick one. So I really enjoyed seasons 1 and 2 of Invincible, and season 3 just came out today at the time of this recording. So, oh, we're dating ourselves. Oh no.
no.
So I watched the first 2 episodes, and it's great. I missed this show. I'm having such a great time with it. I like how it does the like, now I'm at the point where I'm looking at the show and I'm like, I honestly am not sure which direction it can go. It can go in so many different directions. That's like the best spot to be as a TV show, where you keep your audience guessing where it could go, and I'm enjoying it quite a lot so far. Again, like we talked about in the pre-roll for a bit. Season 1 was like, I enjoyed season 1. I think it's like it has a really good build, and like by the time you end it, you will know if you click with the show or not. And then season 2, which I know like there's like mixed opinions on it, came around, and I loved it because it's a much slower, like character driven sort of like season of television. You have a lot of like the scenes where just like characters talking about their emotions and resolving their issues with each other. And I loved a lot of the outcomes and things that came out of that season. So I have a high expectation of this coming season. And so far with the first episode was solid, good. Once the second episode was done, I'm like, yeah, I'm in. I'm super pumped to see where this is going. And I can't wait to watch the rest of it. Good to know they're not splitting up like they did with the previous season, because that shit was insane. The way Amazon
What do you
handled
mean
that.
splitting up?
So Amazon decided to, so the season was pretty much ready, but they decided to do like almost a half a year break between the first 4 episodes and the last 4 episodes, which killed all the momentum the season had at that point. So by the time it returned, not as many people came back to watch it, which is a
They
shame.
went the
'Cause
JoJo's Part 6 Netflix route.
something like that. And that second half of the second season is amazing. Like there's so much good shit happening in that section of the story. Now, so they released the first 3 episodes today, and from here on out, it's gonna be 1 episode a week, and yeah, it's gonna be
Okay.
really fun.
Yeah,
But I highly recommend checking it out.
I haven't seen season 2. I watched season 1 because season 1 was such a cultural phenomenon.
It was
Literally
everywhere
people-
when it was airing.
everyone kept talking about it, and I had to watch it, and I was like, okay, so it's just like a violent version of comics, is essentially what people were describing it to me as, and I was like, yeah, it's okay. It didn't leave me, it left me a little bit interested in like consuming the rest of it because of how it ends in season 1, because I'm like learning more about like the Viltrumites and like about Mark's dad and stuff. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. That's actually cool, right? But then when season 2 came out, I heard so many people talking about how they didn't like it and like all these different like, oh, it was way better in the comics. Oh, this happens. This is why this happens. And I'm just like, I don't really know if I want to watch season 2 because I didn't really enjoy anything outside of the Viltrumite stuff. But I don't know. It's hard for me to recommend this show because outside of the gratuitous amount of blood and violence,
Which is
like,
cool, by the way.
which a
I do
lot of
appreciate
people want from Invincible.
They seem
'Cause
to like
again,
it.
the fact that, you got to understand, we're coming off of the superhero hype train, with the ending of the MCU and like the whatever phase we were in with Endgame and Infinity War and stuff like that.
And now we're in like phase 89 of Marvel.
Yeah, whatever. Like, people are sick and tired of non-violent superheroes. So
I think they're
this was
sick
like
and tired of formulaic movies mainly.
yeah. So this is a lot more interesting. The fact that, literally
that's
the
how The
first
Boys
episode
got
of
popular.
Invincible is like, yo, what the hell?
True, that too. I think like I haven't seen The Boys, so I don't have a strong opinion on it.
I've watched the
but-
first season of it.
I haven't. I watched literally the first episode and went, yeah, I don't think this is that great of a show. And then I just went ahead and read everything about The Boys, like all the plot points and stuff and how everything works out. Because I just was in this kick of like, I'm just going to read every single thing about The Boys without watching the show. So I know exactly what happens in it without watching it.
Why won't you just watch it though?
It was faster to just go read everything about like what happens and the plot
Oh my
contrivances
God.
and stuff like that. And I can say that
Not
it's
sure for you.
I mean, it's a cool concept, but I think that some of how they portray some of the heroes and what happens to them and stuff is just not, it doesn't make sense. Like, the writing gets worse over time, in my opinion, because of
That's a shame.
specifically of the superhero, or not superhero, of the Superman copy, whatever his
Homelander?
name is. Homelander, yeah.
Homelander.
Like, with how his writing goes from like how he is to how he descends into like craziness and madness, I'm like, he's supposed to be a lot smarter than this and a lot tougher than this, but then he just like, they just write him into being like a one-trick pony, and it's just like, it's kind of dumb. And for plot convenience sake, like, stuff happens and it just has to happen that way, and I'm like, and this is really dumb.
But I think it got popular a lot because like
Because it was
you know,
violent.
whether you it's super violent and it's not afraid to show you that, which for Marvel and DC movies they kind of are. They don't want the heroes to look
Unless your
overly
name
violent.
is Deadpool.
Unless your name is Deadpool and you're out there decapitating motherfuckers.
But even then,
Good
like,
shit.
that's cartoony levels of like violence.
Yeah, it's almost
It
like
is.
parody.
Yeah,
yeah,
even
it's-
as gory and as bloody as Deadpool can get, it's still very cartoonish.
Well, the thing about Invincible and The Boys, what sets it apart from your stereotypical superhero films outside of the gratuitous amounts of blood and violence is that they're willing to show you the dark side of the stories of like what would really
the dark side
happen.
of being a superhero.
Yeah, and it's like the realistic side. Not every
Yeah, it's, like,
superhero is going to
grounded.
be actually a superhero who's fighting for good, and a lot of them are going to abuse their power.
I
Which
would
is a good
argue.
story.
I would argue if you just spontaneously gave every human a superpower, at least 50% of them would immediately abuse it.
I mean, the thing about The Boys is that the superheroes are manufactured. They're not
Yeah.
actually like unknown aliens like
Yeah.
in most superhero or rather, I wouldn't say most superhero films have aliens that are superheroes.
I mean, Superman's an alien.
There's a handful of them. Like Green Lantern is an alien. The Green Lantern Corps are like an alien race, or a race of higher beings. Not an alien race, but
Yeah.
so, but
I-
yeah, that's why The Boys is a little bit more interesting. But I just feel like the writing got worse throughout the season.
Nah, that's a
and
shame,
apparently
'cause I
that's
wanted to check it out.
well, that's like a majority consensus that the writing gets worse over time. And I'm like, yeah, I
might
can see
check it
that
out,
with how they
'cause-
write the characters, but
It is ended in the next season, so I might check out The Boys just to like see what I
Yeah,
think.
it
of
will be finished. I mean,
Yeah, which is cool. But I am really excited about this season of Invincible. I think it's like really solid. I think the production of this season looks way more consistent than the previous seasons. So we'll see if it holds up for like the rest of the season. But the first two episodes were like really promising. But if you haven't watched it, I would recommend watching the first season. If by the end of it, it doesn't click for you, then like you're not missing out on like not keeping with it. I think by the end of the first season, you know if you like it for the long run or not. But if I may be a bit selfish, I do want to take like the next few minutes to talk about an anime actually that I'm super
Go
excited
for it.
about. Have you guys got around to Sakamoto Days?
I have not.
I
No.
tried watching the first episode, and I was distracted by the fact that the subtitles on Netflix are god awful.
They're not good. The subtitles
So
are not good on
I was talking to, I think it was Chinoda that was like comparing it for me, right? I was just like, okay, compare the audio dub. It's like, because Netflix does this thing where when they subtitle Japanese anime, they'll just use the English dub subtitles
weird.
to double dip, and I'm like, okay.
But then sometimes they don't. It's a mixed
And
bag.
so-
There are
the
some
thing
yeah,
is,
not
with
every show is
Sakamoto
like that.
Days, they didn't do that. In fact, there's the Japanese dub with English subtitles. It has a completely different script than the English subtitles, because the English subtitles for the English dub have a completely different script that are more faithful of a translation than the actual subtitles for the Japanese dub. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
That's
Netflix?
wild.
Like, what the fuck?
Netflix have been notorious for a while with their bad translation, though, and it's really
Like,
frustrating.
I read Sakamoto Days, so I remember you're the one who was excited for Sakamoto Days when it was coming out, and
For a long
I
time
just
now, I've
it
waited
was
for it.
on Shonen Jump, and I was like, fuck, I'm reading through a bunch of stuff on Shonen Jump, so I was like, I'm just gonna pick up Sakamoto Days. I absolutely love the manga series, so I have no doubt the anime is really good.
It's so good. I've watched only the first two episodes, and it got me.
But
It's
I
so
tried
good.
watching the first episode, but I couldn't because I literally had to stop and be like, because I'm trying to watch it, but I'm not really watching it. I'm listening to it and I'm translating it. Then I read the subtitle. I'm like, that's not the right translation.
But John,
that's not what he
John.
said.
John, the anime has one thing that you can't deny. Sugita is Sakamoto,
Yeah, I know Sugita Sakamoto.
and
Like,
he doesn't.
I know
speak a lot.
Sakamoto Days is good. Like I said, I'm reading the manga. I know it's good. I have no
John-
doubt that the anime is good.
I gotta ask you something, John. Who needs subtitles when you got Sugita? Just listen to that beautiful voice.
Bro, he doesn't
That's all
even
you
speak a
need.
lot.
I
It
love
just
his
makes
voice.
noises.
You don't need anything else. You don't need anything else.
Also, this show is so fun to watch. It's just such a fun watch so far. Like the
Yeah,
character
'cause
is
it's
super likable.
Stupid. It's
It-
about
yeah, but
it's about
but it's
assassins,
cute.
bro. Like,
But it's also like so like wholesome and heartwarming. Like you see the story of how like Sakamoto met his wife, and you see
he
his
met
interactions
Aoi,
with
yeah.
everyone,
Like-
and it's so adorable.
Yeah,
I'm just been really enjoying
I'm
it. So
I'm
far.
gonna get around to watching it eventually. This might be something where I just binge it once it's all out, because it is they're doing the week to week thing on Netflix. I think.
Yeah, it is
with it.
coming out weekly. So yeah, just want to give a shout out to Sakamoto
It only
Days because
took you
Have
5
you-
years, Netflix, but you finally figured out how to do weekly releases for anime. Good job.
Well, they've been doing weekly releases for anime in Japan, but for whatever reason in the West, they were like, nah, we're going to hold on to everything and then release it at the end of the season. And then sometimes they'll be like, nah, we'll just release everything at the start of the season. It's like, where's the consistency, Netflix? But anyway,
that's Netflix.
have
for
you not started watching Solo Leveling, Nitay?
No, I plan on binging season 1 maybe soon because of Maiden Zero Savage season. I kind of like dropped off Naruto for a bit, so I want to go
Right.
back and progress through that. But I do plan on watching Solo Leveling sometime soon,
Okay.
especially with season 2.
So, I kind
Airy.
of want to end it off on talking about Solo Leveling because it's so good. It's so good, in
Okay.
fact, that after last week's episode came out, I went, fuck it, I'm going to go reread the manhwa for the 5th time.
God damn!
I have
Right.
read
Do you
this...
want me to bounce out so you can like openly gush or?
No, I'm not going to openly... I just want to say it is so good. I am so happy that...
It's a big increase over the first
So,
season.
the first... Comparing it to the manhwa, not to the novel, but the actual, like, the comic book, right? The manhwa. It's about 45, 46... Yeah, it's about 45 chapters for the first season. That is what it covers. And there's 179 chapters, which means, like, you only have to cover about 44, 45 chapters a season. So I know where
Right.
Solo Leveling. So I knew where Solo Leveling season 1 was gonna end, and I was like, I was so glad that I said, season 1 feels like a prequel or a preamble. It's the season 0. It's the build up. Season 2,
It's a prologue.
It's gonna be it's the prologue. Season 2 is gonna be the main shit. And I was so glad I was right. I was like, this shit is so hype. It came out of the gates running. I'm so happy. And it was so cool that I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go back and reread it. Because it's so good. Oh, man. I love it.
I would argue that the second season, from a technical perspective, is a big increase over the first season, too. The first season
that's what I
looks
was
good.
wondering
Don't get me
about.
wrong. I would argue the second season looks even better.
Well, because
Really?
from this point on for Solo Leveling, it's basically just going to be back-to-back battles. Like, there's going to be
Yeah, pretty much. From what I
major
hear.
battle, and then maybe one episode of, background, and then back to another battle. So it's just going to be fighting and building up, and it's going to be like that until the end of Solo Leveling. And based on where I think it's going to end for season 2, now I've been told that they're supposedly going to cover Jeju Island in season 2, and I'm like, I don't know about that because
Jeju Island.
Jeju Island is something that they've been building up since literally the first episode of season 1.
The first, scene.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but completing all of Jeju Island into season 2, they're going to have to yada yada over quite a lot of stuff because right now is the reawakening arc, and then there's going to be the tower arc, and then after that is going to be Jeju Island. Based on the pacing, they could get into the Jeju Island arc because based on what I know, where it's going to end is it should end technically right when we meet the team that's going to do the Jeju Island fight. So it should end there. That's what I'm saying, but it might go through all of it. So who knows? But if they're going to go at this pace, it's going to be about 4 seasons total to cover all of Solo
That's pretty
Leveling.
solid.
Yeah. That's not including the epilogue stuff.
I do think they're gonna skip over some stuff, but I agree with John. It would be weird if they covered all of Jeju Island this season. I don't see that happening.
It just, there's a lot to cover.
Do you think the
Unless they
second
decide to
season's
go really
legit going to
shitty.
end on a cliffhanger?
It's not going to
Yeah.
end on a cliffhanger as much as it's going to end on a I don't want to
Abrupt
talk.
point.
I don't want to talk about the spoilers of what's going to happen. It's
Okay.
going to end
Fair enough,
at
fair
a good
enough.
location, and then we're going to have the intrigue of meet the S-tier heroes who are going to go to Jeju Island. You're like, yo, the S-tier heroes from other countries, yo.
But you
That's
don't
where
think
it's
it's going to be a frustrating cliffhanger type ending to the season?
No, I think season 3 is going to be the frustrating cliffhanger because I know where
Yeah.
season
Oh,
3 is going to end,
no.
bro. Everyone's going to be pissed. They're going to be like, yo, what the fuck? I know. I predict everything is going to happen.
Yeah.
But
I'll
so
binge-
so
I'll
far,
binge
the
it.
second
I'll get
season
to it.
is so much more fun to watch so far for me than season 1.
yeah,
because
you
the
might
pace
not
is
like
actually
season
going
1
now.
because there's a lot. It's very slow compared to season 2. But like I said, from this point on, it's just basically nonstop fights.
I just feel like they could have done all of season 1 in 6 or 7 episodes.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like that in the manhwa. It's like that in the light novel.
I guess I should be happy that it's not like a 150 chapter prologue like most manhwa.
Yeah, it's. I mean, like I said, Solo Leveling itself is only 179 chapters in the manhwa. Most manhwa are 500, 600 chapter plus, and the first 100 are the prologue. So we're
damn.
lucky we got away with only 45 chapters being a prologue. Okay.
Yeah,
Only.
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
I'm looking
definitely
forward to
plan
it.
on checking it out. Maybe
should.
in the near future.
You definitely
Yeah.
should once season 2 is done airing because
Yeah, binge both of them back to back.
yeah.
Probably
Once
what
you
I'll do,
once
yeah.
you get through season 1, you might be like Alex, be like, yeah, that was okay. I don't get the hype yet. But then watch season 2, you'll be like, okay, all right, this is what I was
Yeah.
expecting.
When the
Nitay,
first season
you would
ended,
love it. Yeah.
when the first season ended, I gave it a 7 out of
alright.
10, and I said, this is just good enough for me to want to see where it goes next.
All right, I'll let you know when I get around to it. Yeah, but I'm
And
I'm curious to
also,
check
I
it out.
would highly recommend, Nitay, you go watch Apothecary Diaries because
Please.
That's another one I need to watch.
Dude,
That's another one I need to
please.
watch.
I rewatched Apothecary Diaries as well as Solo Leveling. Or rather, I went to go reread Solo Leveling, but Apothecary Diaries, I finally got my wife to watch it. when I was actually down in Orlando, I got her to start watching it on the flight there. I was like, "Do you want to watch?" Like,
That's awesome.
since you can't leave anywhere for 5 hours while we're on this flight, watch Apothecary Diaries with me. So
Wife, I have you trapped. You will watch what I wish you to watch right now.
Basically.
yeah, so then we watched the first like 9 episodes together, and at that point I was like,
Nice.
"Oh my god, I'm just gonna rewatch all of Apothecary Diaries." So I rewatched all of Apothecary Diaries, and I'm like, "Oh, it's so good! Ah, man, it's so Kevin Bacon, you genius! The music's so good." But that is a show I highly recommend you also watch. Like, if
Okay.
anything,
Yeah,
Solo
that's what I'm
Leveling
super curious about.
and
as
Apothecary
well.
Diaries.
Yeah.
Like,
And
I
keep
put
watching
it up here
Naruto.
with Free Rent in terms of like this is
Yeah,
how enjoyable of a show, dude.
Naruto is the main focus now, and I'm enjoying how I
Yeah.
can take my time with it and the pace I'm with it. But yeah, both Soul Leveling and Apothecary, those definitely shows I want to watch.
Good.
I'll let you know when I
Awesome.
get to it. All
I
right.
guess Nitay needs to bounce out, so we need to kind of end this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
3 a.m. It's fine.
I do want to say very, very quickly before we go, I was going to talk about this a little more, but we didn't get a chance to talk about it. I got a chance to watch The Colors Within, which is Naoki Yamada's newest film.
How was it?
It was really, really good. If you get a chance, if it's airing at a theater near you, go watch it. I think by the time this comes out, it will probably be out of theaters. I know, Chinoda, you wanted to go see it, but no theater near you was actually playing it, or the ones that did were while you were working.
Yeah.
Is it as good as a Silent Voice?
No, but it is a very feel-good movie.
Okay.
Is the color? Is it based on anything? Because Silent Voice is a manga.
No, it is an anime
Yeah.
original movie.
Okay.
Okay.
It is written by the same person who wrote the screenplay for A Silent Voice, which is Reiko Yoshida, who has collaborated with Naoki Yamada on multiple projects. They're a great writing team.
Which studio is producing this one? Science
The
Saru?
film is produced by Science Saru. It looks very much like a Science Saru anime. It's also about an hour and 45 minutes long, so it's not a short film. And also the music is being done by Kinsuke Ushio, who also did the music for A Silent Voice, Chainsaw Man, Devilman Crybaby, and Dandadan.
Okay.
Good shit.
If it's not airing anywhere near you, Chinoda, I definitely don't think it's gonna be airing anywhere near me. Then I'd barely get
Yeah.
any anime out here, bro.
Well, the issue is that by the time this comes out, and even as we're recording this, it's gone. G-Kids is probably taking it out of theaters. It was only supposed to be in theaters for like 2 weeks at the very end
that's a
of
shame.
January. So,
That's
yeah,
a shame.
if
I'll
you
wait
do
for
get a
the
chance to
Blu-ray.
watch it,
I'll
if you-
wait
if-
for
yeah, if you
Disney
do get a
Plus to pick it up.
probably.
Well, don't they
probably.
own G-Kids now? Isn't it? Who bought G-Kids? Someone bought G-Kids. I
I
thought it
know,
was Disney.
Maybe it
I'm
was
not sure.
Disney. I don't.
Jamie,
be.
pull that up.
Jamie,
I-
pull that up. Someone
I
bought
will
G-Kids
tell you.
recently.
I will tell you. Toho International.
Toho.
Oh,
Okay.
Toho.
Ah, shit. I don't know what Toho works with then. I don't know who would do the distribution outside in
I
America.
mean, it could end up. It would be. It would be
Toho works
not
with
out of.
Crunchyroll.
Do they?
They do, but it would
Yeah.
not be out of place on Disney. I can tell you that much.
Interesting.
But
Anyway.
anyway, I just wanted to say that if you get a chance to watch it, watch it. If it'll eventually be on a streaming service somewhere, watch it there if you can. And Naoki Yamada, I always trust. But anyway, thank you all for stopping by to watch this. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff if you like what you saw and you want to see more. Check down below where you can find links to all the stuff Anime Club After Dark does. We also have a link to our merch store down there if you want to help us out that way as well. With all that being said, I have been your host, Alex, and we will see you next time. Say goodnight, guys.
Good
night, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for joining.
Man, you're still watching the goddamn Momentary Lily. Fuck you. Fuck you.
I got shit to talk about.
Disgusting.
This is why we
Literal
can't have
shit.
nice things,
If you
Chinoda.
didn't have to go take a shit in the middle of a recording, Chinoda, like, we could have dunked on Momentary Lily. Come on, man.
Yeah.
I didn't
That's
have
why he
to
ran
take a shit.
away. That's why he
We
ran
could have
away.
had an actual. You know what? At least he did have a monthly dump in the monthly dump, right?
He did.
Oh,
Oh my god.
Boom.